Good afternoon everybody, and a very warm welcome to Ringwood South. And today I have a layout update because I'm going to just tie the layout update in with an announcement for a live stream. I'm going to be doing a live stream tomorrow. Probably more than likely it's going to be around the 8 o'clock mark, so just keep an eye on it. And that's 8 o'clock in the evening UK time. Unfortunately I can't announce it in the usual way because, well, my PC's dead. I'm hoping to resolve that next week with a bit of luck and hopefully get hold of a laptop so I can start doing my videos like I would do normally. So that's why you kind of see me like this, because it's just for me just to introduce the channel, introduce me, and just let you know what's going on until I can do it in my usual manner. So basically I'm hoping to get the PC, a laptop next week, and then hopefully I can start recording and editing as usual, and we can go back to the way things were. But what I really wanted to just make the announcement that I am going to do a live stream tomorrow night, approximately about 8 o'clock in the evening, and that's going to be to do with power and control is going to be the subject, and that's to do with basically, as the name suggests, to do with my controllers, because part of the layout update that I have for you is I've got a brand new controller, and I wanted to kind of I believe there's a couple of other people, modelers, who are going to be putting up videos over the next few days over their particular units and their particular thoughts on them and how they use them and how they get on with them, I believe. And it would be nice if you know, I did the same. Because then it's quite good for modelers in general just to have a look if they are interested in getting a new DCC controller or DC controller. It'd be quite nice that people can sort of see these videos and sort of maybe make a judgment kind of thing on what they prefer from the people who actually use them, rather than from maybe what they get told from shops and things like that. So I'm going to be doing quite an in-depth review because I'll show you what I bought, but I won't go into too much depth into it until tomorrow. But I will show you because that's part of the layout update as well. I'm still going to Portsmouth on Saturday, and I was hoping Dave was going to come with me, but he's going to the Swanage Diesel Gala, which I wanted to go to as well, but obviously because I made a commitment to go to Portsmouth, then I'm sticking with that, and I'll be just hopefully taking some footage of that and meeting up with a couple of people that I know are going and that are going to be there. And like I said, if any of you guys are interested, the other thing is, because I don't have my PC, I haven't got full access to my channel. So if you would like to come, or if you are planning on coming, for example, and you fancy having a chinwag with me, or you see me or whatever, and you know you're interested, or just leave it in the comments as opposed to a message, because I'm not likely to see that message until it's too late. Like I said, hopefully I'll meet some of you, and I know there's a few people going already, and I'm more than happy to meet whoever happens to be around, so don't be afraid to say hello if you should go and you should see me. Right, onwards and upwards with the layout update, so let's get on with that. So the first part of my layout update is concentrated on this area here. I've been and ahhing as to what I was going to do for some time now. Obviously I've got the steam loco shed, and I wanted to understand a bit more about the coal staves and what they were used for, and things like that, and how I'd go about modelling it in my way. And the inspiration came in this month's BRM, which is this one here, which is the After Hours magazine. It's a current edition. And as I was flicking through it, I came across a bit of a moment of inspiration, really, because there was a layout in here called Burnden Park. And as I was reading it and everything like that, I come across a picture, and this was it. This was the picture that I came across. And I come across this building here, and I like the idea of the steam loco being here, and that the coal wagons will be brought into this building, and then it's slightly raised, and then basically they would shovel the coal off the wagon and directly into the steam loco. And on top of that, there was a water tower, and I really liked the idea of this building. So I knew you couldn't buy one because I've been looking for ages for something suitable. So I've decided to make my own. And those of you who follow me from Behringer will know that I'm not exactly new to scratch building. So I decided to sort of make a start on making myself a building to represent this. Now, bearing in mind, this is the only picture that I have of it. I've tried looking on the internet as well to see if I can find any that kind of represents this, but I couldn't find anything. This is the only picture I could find that was in this month's magazine that I like the idea of. So bearing that in mind, I've decided to make my own building, and I haven't finished it. I've only just started it. So this is it here, and it's almost like a shoebox, really. But you can see the sort of similarities. This will be the water tower here a bit. So I bought some Wills Varigirders, and I'll show you that shortly. And I bought some other bits and pieces to start cladding the building. And as you can see, it's just made out of card, and it's got 3 layers of card attached to it, because if I turn it upside down, you can see that it's all cut out. You can see the notches. Now, the whole point of this building is that it's to marry up with this building here, with this engine shed here. So if I just put this back, you can see that the windows are pretty much the same shape. It's got the recesses, and basically the height of the actual building itself is the same height as this, although with the roof it makes it slightly bigger. But basically, essentially, this building is now finished, and that's the shell of it. So now it's a case of actually cladding it with the various components to give it that water tower look, and then also to blend it in with this building alongside. So that's kind of going to be the plan. It wasn't going to be the plan, it's just that it just kind of hit me. I'm not even sure whether this is going to be the final resting place for it, whether I'm going to put it on the other side. I haven't really experimented with it. So that's kind of that building that I've decided to make, and I'll show you the components that I've got to use to sort of finish it off. So firstly, we've got this sprue, and this is the sprue that Tony gave me with some steps on it. So I'm thinking that somewhere along the line these steps are going to come in handy. I'm not exactly sure how, but I think it might work somewhere along the line. I'm not sure. I need to look at some more buildings and do a little bit more research to see if people had a need. I'm sure I've seen cooling towers, water towers with steps on it to go to the top. I don't know if it's just for maintenance or something like that, so I'm not sure. So that may very well come in handy. The next bit is this Wills Varigirder. It's actually used for bridges, which I've done before. That's cost me £5.85, but this whole pack here should be enough to go all the way around. So this one pack should be able to do it, to do the whole back, front and sides. And then the other thing I come across today, now I haven't used this particular one before, but I have used this type of plastic card before. And basically this is, I don't know if you can see it, but this is stone plasticard, or well, they say it's stone. It looks a bit more like brick, but I guess it could be stone. And basically I'll be using this. The ones that I used to use I got from my old model shop, but that's not as local to me anymore, and so my local model shop don't do that type, they do this type. And they had a couple of sheets left, and I thought, well, I'll take both of them. Even if I don't use them, I'll use them elsewhere. And I'm contemplating whether or not, if this goes well, whether or not I might use this type of plasticard to go and do my warehouses down the other end of the layout. So I'll be doing that over the next few days. I'll be just sort of like entertaining myself with that, just getting it all made up and cut up and start putting this building together. One of the other things I've been doing, the other thing is, whilst we're here, is I've got these lollipop sticks. I won't tell you where they come from, but I guess most of you will know. And I'm going to be using them. I'm thinking of possibly, I've got these Gauge Master carriage siding kits which I bought, which I was originally going to use for the middle. I'm no longer going to be using them anymore, so I'm half thinking of possibly lining these up on here and turning them into like a wooden, into wooden versions to sort of backdate them a little bit, and they'll probably come out quite nice, and just, yeah, either varnish them or paint them up. I think they'll kind of backdate them up rather than having these concrete sort of things, and I could put them to good use maybe. So I'm not sure yet, but that's kind of one idea I'm toying with. The other thing I've been up to is I've got this platform in. This platform actually cost me nothing. So that's a fantastic deal when you consider that if you buy individual bits and pieces from Pico kits and stuff like that, they do their own kits, Hornby do their kits, and you know, each block costs you, I don't know, £4, maybe £5. I don't know what it is these days. I don't know if that's the going rate. I think it's around that sort of mark, maybe even a bit more, and you only get like a block that's kind of like that. It soon adds up if you've got a big platform, but this has cost me absolutely nothing. I went to my local DIY store and they do a ball cutting service, and basically this was one of the offcuts. So I thought, okay, I asked them how much it was, and he just said, no, it's just an offcut, you can have it for nothing. And I walked out the door with 2 pieces. So superb, you know, I can't argue with that. So my platform's literally cost me nothing, and that's what I did last time. So here's a bit of a tip for you, you know, if you know, rather than spending all those money on the individual bits and pieces from Hornby or Pico or whoever, you know, sometimes you can actually look in the offcuts bin and you can just make the most of that. So that's another thing. As we come down the layout, I've now, I'm just going to reverse out a bit. What I've decided to do now is I've got rid of, I'm going to excuse me because that will give you a better sense of, I've got rid of the wash plant. I decided that because I've got these ballast wagons and I really like the idea of having a ballast train, and I've also got some Freightliner HIAs, which are also ballast wagons, that I could try and make the most of them. So I'm going to have a kind of like a ballast heap here in the middle with a crane, and that could be there working away. It's kind of based on my visits to Eastleigh, and also just because I like the idea of it, and I wanted to make the most out of these wagons that I had. I do like it, and it gives me another option. I can still do the run round passing loop through where this mail train is and the other line behind it, and use the turntable itself as a point and just shove them over so you can run around the train. So that's the other thing that I've done around here. And the last thing before I go, and then after, like I said, we'll wrap it up because I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow, is let me just show you my new controller. So this is my new controller. It's a Gauge Master Prodigy Express and DCC controller. I'm not going to go too much into it today because, like I said, tomorrow I'm going to go into more depth into it and as to the reasoning why I bought it, what I like about it, and I'll be doing the same with my Hornby. And I've also got a Bachmann Easy Command. But basically, currently, I've just literally built this just now. This piece of NDF offcut that I had, I just cut it in because the depth of the backboard is not wide enough, not thick enough. So I had to add in another piece so I can put the cradle on for the Prodigy to sit in. So anyway, we'll talk more about that tomorrow. And if you're interested, then join me on the live stream tomorrow night at 8 o'clock in the evening UK time. So from Ringwood South until tomorrow, thank you for viewing and thank you for watching, and I will speak to you all tomorrow. Any comments, please feel free to comment and subscribe, and I will speak to you soon. Bye for now.